Lia Thomas, the swimmer at University of Pennsylvania, was nominated by the University of Pennsylvania as the Woman of the Year. So Lia Thomas is really not a woman. Lia Thomas is a man, a biological man. And Lia Thomas, of course, is a swimmer and has done very well in the NCAA because the NCAA has allowed a man to swim against women. And not only has Lia Thomas done very well as a swimmer, which is really a guy, Lia Thomas is now being nominated as Woman of the Year. The rest of the Ivy League rejected this idea, but UPenn thought it was a great idea. I want to hear what you two have to say as moms and women.
I'm offended. I'm offended not only for myself as a woman, but I'm offended for every female athlete out there, every single one of them. There are significant biological differences. My daughter happens to be a competitive swimmer. She, in conversation with her, I said, what do you think about this? Well, I don't think it's right, but the rules are the rules. I said, okay, well, I agree in part with that. And then we were on a camping trip, and my husband is not a competitive swimmer, has never been a competitive swimmer. Is not an avid exerciser of sorts and other things. Okay. And neither is Melissa's husband, right? Well, right. So they were in the pool and they were gonna challenge. Now my daughter has been swimming. She swims 2.5 hours a day, 6 days a week.
And she's 15.
And she's 15 years
she's
old.
Almost at the peak of her.
Yes. And she's about 5'6" or maybe 5'7" a little bit if she's on her, stands real tall. So her and my husband they were going to have a competition, and they were going to swim from one side of the pool to the other.
Okay.
He beat her every time.
Wow.
Every time. Now, the only way that he may not have, if they had decided to do like a 400, he might have eventually drowned, from trying to suck air. But I said, you know what, this is a really important lesson for you to see here. I said, your dad is 6 feet tall. His body is different. His wingspan is different. His feet are larger. Everything about him is bigger than you. So he has an advantage right away.
Yes.
Over you. Lia Thomas, whatever his given name was 500th in men's swimming. 500th.
I did not know that.
500th.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And when you now identify as a female, you jump to number one.
Number one.
And mind you,
well said.
Lia Thomas is also like a large man. Lia
tall.
Thomas is not
very, very tall.
A short, small guy. Large. So talk about wingspan. Obviously, he's going to win.
All of those things matter. The reach
it does matter.
Everything
like you
matters.
said, the foot size matters. That's why Pete can swim. He's got massive. But so I'll tell you, for me, the whole thing being nominated. So my children are not. Well, my one daughter actually just made the swim team. So I guess I'm going to have a swimmer. But just having 3 daughters, I was a competitive athlete. I was in competitive cheerleading, which some people would argue. With men.
I was going to gaslight her just now.
I know you were. I know you were.
I totally
But I was in competitive cheerleading with men. And I'll tell you, I was a base and a flyer. What the men my age on my cheer team could do, I could never do. Granted, I'm little. I'm 5'2", right? But still, I could lift as many weights as I wanted to lift. I could train 7 days a week. And I did. And I could not throw another girl in the air like my male counterparts could have done.
That's a great point.
So in all competitive athletes, I worked my whole life towards that goal, just like Lindsay's going to work her whole life towards a goal to get wiped away without trying. Lia Thomas obviously doesn't have to try to beat a girl. Most girls. There might be that 1 in a million female swimmers. But I just want to say this. What bothers me more so than the fact that it's just completely ridiculous, okay? Lia Thomas still has a penis, okay? And they made these women change in the locker room.
That's right.
With him.
True story.
Not to mention, not only does he have a penis, I've never looked to see if he has been taking drugs, but visibly aroused changing in front of these other female swimmers. And all I could think about as a woman and as a mother to girls is, can you imagine the fear that some of those girls must have had? I don't know the stats of rape, but think about if one of the swimmers on that team had been raped.
Or
To be
sexually
standing-
abused
yes.
at a younger age.
To be standing in a locker room with a
Reliving
visibly aroused male while they're about to go compete. Talk about throwing you off your game. It just the whole thing. It's not safe. It's not fair. And it just makes me sad for all of the kids that are trying. That might be the one chance that child has to make to go to college. And Lia took it away.
So maybe you two can, a great point, by the way, great points. Maybe both of you can enlighten the audience and me, because I do need enlightenment on this. What is it about those women who are moms who think this is okay? Obviously, you're two women who don't think it's okay for men to compete against women. And that is to say, women deserve to have their sports and to compete against other women in a fair playing field. Why is it that there are some moms that think that's okay? I mean, aren't they erasing the whole idea of what it is to be a woman? I mean, it used to be that on one side of the aisle, they were about women's power and Title IX and opportunities and equal access to college through scholarships for sports. And then suddenly that's all being wiped away by some moms. Do you know any of these people?
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to this whole topic of gaslighting, because I think that there are so many people in society where today, if you speak out against any of this craziness, you are targeted. I've been targeted.
Yes.
People have sent things to my house.
Yes, you have. Explain that. Give an example.
Well, I'm very vocal in the community, and people have sent things to my house. People have said very unkind things about me.
You've spoken out against the idea that women should be able to compete against women, this kind of thing, and then people attack you on social media.
Yes, they say I'm a homophobe.
Somehow there's something wrong with you.
I'm transphobic.
Okay.
I'm hateful.
I've
You've been called a bigot.
For a dishonest bigot.
And here you are, a mom with children who are swimmers, competitive swimmers, and you're coming out in favor of the idea of having them remain competitive swimmers in their
and from
gender.
And a mom who doesn't want a teenage boy or a grown man in a locker room with my 15-year-old daughter. That's okay for me to feel that way. And as Melissa and I have,
but they've called you a bigot.
Oh yes,
because you feel that.
Yes. And because I don't want certain books read and, other things,
crazy.
It's a lot. And, here's the thing, just because I don't agree with all of the things that somebody else, as another parent, if you feel like, you know what, everybody should be equal, we're never going to be equal in that respect. Okay.
And equality's in that
Yes.
way, and that definition
Correct.
is boring. What makes the world go round and what
Is that
makes
we're
it
all
so
unique.
great is we're all different.
Totally agree with that. And the thing about all of this chaos and commotion is that it doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me a homophobe. It doesn't make me a bigot. It doesn't make me a racist. It doesn't make me any of those things or anybody else any of those things, just because we have a different view or a different way that we want to parent.
Absolutely.
But that's
Absolutely.
what's happening. And it's really disheartening and disappointing. And that's why I feel like more people don't speak up, because they're afraid
They're
of
terrified.
being called those names, or they're afraid of being attacked at their job
Especially
or
at the
things like
job.
that.
Especially at the job. That's exactly what I see more than
I've had
anything
someone
else.
call my job.
I mean, I have because of what I do in my real job, without going into great detail, there is an attorney that represents us in the matter of zoning issues and won't even contact me and talk to me. And I'm the one that pays the bills, but will only talk to one of the folks that works for me. And I know, although this individual's never said so, I know it's because of this podcast. I guarantee you.